Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we're continuing Hogwarts. So on the last video we left off we had created the upper floor of the first floor of the basements, and now we're going on and we're continuing the second floor. Now, as I went into this, I was thinking to myself, oh, I'm so confident, we're on the last legs, it's almost done. Wrong. I was so wrong. As you know, I can never do anything simply or just make it easier on myself. So what I did was I started off going through and I was like, yep, this is going to be this is going to be this, there's a potions lab, there's a Snape's office, there's a Slytherin common room, and we are done. And that's not how it worked out. As I was looking at this, I was thinking to myself, this potions room is going to be really atmospheric and it's going to be like really dark and everything, but everything else around it is so light colored and I don't really want to make it all droopy down here just yet. So what I did was I actually decided to make the massive decision to move the dungeons down to the last 2 basement levels and have the other 2 top basement levels be cheerful Hogwarts. So I've basically just added on hours and hours to this project with this decision, not knowing like, oh, will I have enough rooms to put in, or what do I even need to put in this level? All I knew was I didn't want it to be the dungeons quite yet, because I knew that I would also have the Hufflepuff common room on this level. I wanted to put in another bathroom. I really wanted to put in like the room of requirement and the dueling club room. And I thought, you know what, those aren't really dungeon-y kind of things, and it's going to look really odd if I have, you know, a dungeon with just these bright spots. So I'd really rather just keep it in theme across the board. So here I am, completely being a weirdo and completely adding on hours and hours of building to my project. It's already quite lengthy, but you know what? I liked how it turned out, so it must have been a good idea. So what we're starting out with a very grand entrance to the second basement level. Because I don't ever want it to get like just basic, even though it's underground, I still want everything to be incredibly grand and everything. So we're going through and we are just creating a beautiful entry level where the grand staircase just continues downward and it still looks pretty and everything is still grand and everything. It's not just basic hallways and everything. So everything's got a rhyme and a reason. I really struggled with the staircase though. I had a vision of what I wanted it to look like, and then the stairs, and I made the mistake of introducing curves into the everything. And you know what, I've got to stop shooting myself in the foot because that took like 30 minutes to get right, and Sims 4 just does not have the capabilities to do curves properly, so I've got to stop doing that. Just stick to long straight angles, please. I won't. So what we're doing, we're just adding in all the pillars, all the decorations, we want it to look absolutely lovely. I do go back and I take out this fountain. It was just too big. I wanted something grand, but honestly, the sized up version of that fountain just looked odd. I do size up a few things in this build, but honestly, that was just a bit too much for me. So I just go in and I just put in a similar size fountain, sized up a little bit, but you know what, still nice looking, not jarring as that one was. And I feel like at this point I have decorated so many hallways at this point that I can't believe I'm still decorating hallways. Like, there's so many in this build. And thankfully I established a nice design theme for the hallways pretty early on. All the hallways look exactly the same. They've got the same furniture, they've got the same decorations. It's just different configurations of that hallway. So yeah, what I'm doing is I'm going through now and I'm building a nice little off hallway. I had no idea what was going to be in any of these rooms, by the way. All I knew was it's not going to be the dungeons. So I sort of had to scramble all the way actually until the end of building Hogwarts to find things to put in this level. I think what I end up doing is I put in a bathroom, which I'm going to build in a moment. I do a staff room, a Muggle studies room, the room of requirement, the dueling club, the Hufflepuff common room, and a little secret sort of broom cupboard that goes into a secret entrance that leads into secret passageways throughout Hogwarts. So everything's got a function in here. It's not too dungeony themed. So I was really glad I was able to fill up this space and make it still light looking Hogwarts. And then when you get down to the dungeons one level below, it goes fully dark and drab and beautiful, and I can't wait for you to see it. So I'm really just recreating the girls' bathroom, not completely, there's no entrance to the Chamber of Secrets in this one, but I wanted it to be right next to the Chamber of Secrets hallway fall that you can see right next to it. It's all coloured in green. That's how you actually get down to the Chamber of Secrets, and I like it because even though there's no snake, there's no piping or anything, the bathrooms in Hogwarts are still sort of attached to the Chamber of Secrets. They're close by. I just liked that, in that the snake would wind its way through all the bathrooms that are nearby and, you know, scare the crap out of people. So yeah, I just liked that I kept that in theme. And then I'm going through just adding toilet paper and realism and everything. Now we come to our dueling club. Now I do make a change in that this dueling club that I'm building right now, it's only from the Chamber of Secrets, and I think that's a converted Great Hall. I can't be sure. I did not go back and check. I never go back and check things. I always run purely on memory, and I shouldn't do that. So yeah, I'm actually building the dueling club, and it's its own room, and it's actually 2 levels. I don't actually keep it 2 levels just because I make the mistake of, I broke my own rule. The reason I moved everything down 1 level of the basements is I didn't want any bright spots within the dungeons, and making dueling club 2 levels actually puts the bottom level of the dueling club smack bang in the middle of our dreary dungeons, and it's just this massive bright red, really cheerful looking dueling club room just in the middle of the dungeon. And I just couldn't take it. It was so off brand. So I actually end up deleting this whole upper level room. But for now, the idea of the room is that you've got an upper level and you've got a lower level. And what you can do is you can go into the upper level and you can actually have spectator seats, and you can actually sit down and watch people as they duel. And I thought that was a really fun idea. But in terms of functionality, there's nothing to do in this upper level. It's just seating. And that sort of bothered me a little bit because I wanted every level of every room to be functional in that you can actually do something in there. But this sort of broke the rule a little bit, so I do end up going back and changing it. The only time I ever really break that rule is with all the common rooms, apart from the Gryffindor one. Every single common room for Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin, they're multi-level, so they're 2 levels, and generally the top level is just spectator and seating and just sort of little nooks and everything. I just wanted to give all the common rooms that grandeur look, so that's why they're all double level except Gryffindor. Poor things, they did not have the space, I'm so sorry. So yeah, that's why that's what like that. But really, I think this is the only instance I ever go through and make a double level classroom, but I do go back and change that eventually. But for now, we're just sort of taking creative liberties in that we only got to see so much of the dueling club. And every time I think about it, I think of Lockhart, and I love him so much. He makes me laugh every single time. So I'm just going through and I'm putting up posters and lighting, and I like to think that these people in the portraits are, you know, duelists that are famous in history, that have pulled something off and just really well known. Just make the room a little bit lore and themed and everything. I don't know why I put chains on the wall. I just went a bit barbaric and went, yeah, dueling, chains, weapons. So that's how that worked out. And for the bottom level, I've got obviously the dueling platform. I want it to be nice and long and nice and wide and grand and everything. And then for the bottom level, I just start adding in all of these swords and weapons and trophies, because obviously dueling, it's probably an international kind of competition thing. So I'd imagine that there's been a few sort of dueling club competitions, and that, you know, Hogwarts has had its fair share. I mean, it housed Albus Dumbledore, so surely he's got like a few dueling club competitions under his belt. So what I'm going through, I'm just adding in all of the trophies and everything, and some spare seating, and just honestly filling up the space. But I do like the idea that I'm adding in swords. I like the idea that when Hogwarts was first established, yes, they used wands, but there was also still, I imagine, the age of using archaic weaponry, so swords, shields, lances, that kind of thing. So, you know, if Hogwarts is actually getting invaded by muggles back then, they would have had their fair share of weaponry. So I feel like I wanted to add that in. And I like the idea that they'd also do like fencing lessons back in the day, because it's pretty similar to dueling, isn't it though? So it's all part and partial. So we're just adding that in as well, clutter up the space, and really that's mostly it for Dueling Club. I didn't get the opportunity to put in a stairway downwards. I have the worst trouble with fitting in stairs into rooms. I so much all the time just end up using a ladder. It's lazy, I know, but there's so much actually going on otherwise that I just couldn't fit it in. So yeah, as you can see, I'm now going through, and now that I've actually made the decision to swap around the levels a little bit and put the dungeons back down one, I'm actually going through and I'm just taking the opportunity to decorate all the hallways. And as you can see, this is in a very special hallway because I've put it off for so long, and now I'm finally going to do it in the next video. We are doing the Hufflepuff common room, and then I think the kitchens after that, because honestly, they're opposite one another and they've been sitting here patiently for so long. They deserve their day in the sun. So those are coming in the next videos, and I was just on a roll at this point. So yeah, that is it really. But thank you so much for watching. It was a bit of a middle zone video in that transitional, build up the castle a little bit, see where the layout's going, and then just add in a dueling club. So I hope you enjoyed it, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.